Hi, and welcome back to the Chasing Tone podcast. I'm Travis.
I'm Max.
I'm Brian.
And I'm pretty excited today, gotta admit. Max is, let me get this out of the way first. Max is notorious for being very detail oriented. He has documents for gigs. I mean, he's pretty organized in his personal life. You know, most people are either organized professionally or personally. I don't know about professionally, but
I'm both.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, definitely,
list maker.
definitely, yeah. You are a list maker, but Max was even proud of me for this. I started a spreadsheet on my own without being told to, and it was it's basically like a list of like a bill of materials for my new amp build.
Mm-hmm.
I am building an 18 water. I jumped off the deep end. I ordered all my parts, but he's impressed because the Excel sheet has like parts numbers and
columns and everything.
Oh yeah, columns. Yeah, I even did math.
Did you really?
Well, I didn't. The computer did, but I set it up to do it. Hashtag AutoSum.
But if you look at like Travis's desktop, it literally has like icons everywhere and documents. It's just chaos. It looked like computer just threw up all over the place.
But here's the thing. The way Max, I've organized it twice before because I have a folder that says backup and then backup too. But you know how I did it? I highlighted every, what do you call them, icon or whatever?
Yeah.
Every icon, and then I just put it in a folder that says backup.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Except I call mine desktop.
Desktop, I call mine backup
or I call
1,
it
backup
desktop
2.
2. That way I don't get confused.
Right, that's what I do. Backup 1, backup 2. Because I don't call it,
Eventually I have like 5 desktop folders.
Mm-hmm. But who needs to be that organized when there's the search thing, right? Number 1. And then number 2, there's Time Machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have an out. No, nothing?
No, I'm not going to give this to
I'm with
friends,
you.
but
I just click on the magnifying glass.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Magnifying glass. But so I figured we'd talk about the amp build thing because it's there's a lot of places to go with that and a lot of stuff on my mind about it. For instance, you know, do you buy the world's best parts? How neat does your wiring have to be? You know, all these, like, what if you could buy one tube that makes the most difference, which would it be? You know, all this stuff that, you know, I'm reading and reading and reading, and I'm learning way more than I really need to be able to build an amplifier. You know, it's like, do you really need to have a multimeter and check between every solder connection between every component, or can you just do it through sections? You know, so it's kind of geek talk, kind of not, but I kind of want to just, you know, reverb.com, great site, they have a great blog. Also, if you like great blogs, check out Max's blog on the Wampler Pedals webpage. It's just Wampler Pedals?
Yeah, /blog.
Yeah.
WamplerPedals.com/blog.
Yeah, I don't know because I just hit it off my desktop or off my my, what do you call it, the bookmarks bar?
Yeah.
Come on. But what? Oh, I know it is.
Because I heard that for hours.
I've got Brian's son saying, "Come on."
Night.
He even sent me a video of his son going, "Trash bag, come on!"
For hours, we were playing baseball in the yard, right? Or softball type thing.
Right.
With all the family. And every time anything happened, he'd be like, "Come on!"
Bink.
And I was like, "Oh God, you're killing me."
Hashtag, you're welcome.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, and like I said, because I told him, I said, dude, it's going to catch on. You need to take it to your school. And he was like, no, it's stupid. And now, after school's out, now he decides it's cool. It's like, yeah. It's like you're behind the times here. I forgot to close down all the apps on my computer, so now like everything's popping up on me. But anyway, back to the Reverb blog thing.
ADD, oh, look at that.
Yeah, oh, look at that. Dude, I have this thing, one icon for Adobe or whatever, and it'll flash every now and again, and it just bugs the crap out of me. Anyway,
what is this?
Yeah, exactly.
I hate when they start to jump a little bit. Like, you know,
that's what this.
I mean?
Yeah, that's
it
what I'm
just
talking.
Jumps a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean.
Irritating.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to go off of some of this reverb stuff, just because it's really good and it's stuff that we can talk about. I mean, this guy, the guy that wrote the original article, Dave Hunter.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, Dave Hunter's, yeah, he knows his stuff.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I was getting ready to say he knows a little more than I.
He's basically written the guitar Bible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so I want to give credit where credit's due because I didn't come up with the article, you know?
Right.
But some stuff that it really got me thinking, especially where I'm at right now as far as building this amp. So let's just kind of break it down. He calls it the myths, but the most expensive parts make the best amp.
It's true.
It's not true.
I know.
But in the way that it was described makes total sense, man. It was
Depends if you own a part manufacturer. If you own a parts company.
Yeah.
Then
Well, and it's like I was telling you yesterday, for my personal amp build, I went with a different company for the power transformer and a different company for the output transformer. And I put more money into my output transformer because a lot of research and some very trusted friends tells me that the power transformer doesn't have that much effect on tone.
well, I've heard that about transformers. There's more that meets the eye.
There is more than meets the eye, and it could be pretty deceptive, Con.
Don't trust him.
Nothing?
Deceptive.
I tried going with it. Yeah. What? You won't give it to me.
You
I'll
got to
give it
be
to
a
Max.
little older to understand that.
Yeah. But, no, it can't make it come back. But anyway, I was telling Brian, I said, really the only people I've heard say the power transformer has a lot to do with tone are the people that make the power transformer.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like
If you make transformers, you're going to probably hype them up quite a bit.
exactly. You know what I mean? I mean, there's nothing sexier than a power transformer.
That's what gets iron right
That's
here.
what gets me going.
The windings.
But
oh, yeah.
Mr. Dr. Z himself made a good point. He said, excuse me, Mr. Z, but he said, with guitar, we're not trying to reproduce anything. We're trying to create things. We're not trying to take hi-fi audio and you know what I mean? He's like, we want amps to distort on purpose.
Right.
Why would you ever want that? Why would you want crystal clean tones?
Engineering teach you to not make things clip.
Exactly. And he was like, so if you have every part is perfect tolerance and every part is, amazing or whatever, then your amp could sound worse because of it.
Sterile and lifeless almost.
Exactly. And he said his favorite part about designing an amp is basically, finding what parts and what tolerances that are mismatched and just come up with that magic. And then once he figures it out, then boom, that's his amp.
I think the same is true for pedals a little bit.
See,
but
that's
it's
exactly
not
what I was getting ready to say.
It's not near as dependent as amps are. You know what I mean?
But
so like
at the same time, I bet tolerances are farther apart on some of the pedal parts.
They can be, yeah. So like on some Chinese-made pedals, you might have 20
yeah.
plus or minus 20%.
That's huge. How can you have plus or minus 20%?
Well, that's why some tube screamers, like you get them and you get 10 of them, and they all sound radically different.
Yeah.
Because some of those capacitors in there are high tolerance parts.
Yeah, I mean 20%. That's huge.
And the potentiometers are high tolerance parts. So I mean, it's all that changes frequencies and volumes and gains.
But you don't think it has as much effect on overall tone as amps?
I when you're talking about low voltage stuff, and
Okay.
keep in mind we're putting 9 volts in the pedal, but
Right.
for the most part you're running about 4.5 volts because it's using half voltage.
Because half goes to ground, is that why?
No, just the
Okay.
op amp is biased off half that voltage.
Of course it is.
So,
I could have told you that.
so I mean, you're not. So I mean, it's just it's not that as dramatic of a difference. I mean, I find the bigger difference is in layout.
That's the one thing
and there's
that blows my mind.
there's a few spots where it's really critical what type of capacitors and stuff. But
I'll tell you what, the layout thing blows my mind. And
you saw it firsthand.
oh yeah, several times.
Yeah.
Especially like you'll play something. It's got to be so frustrating for you because like with an amp, you build it and that's how it sounds.
Right.
There's no breadboard.
Right.
I mean, I guess technically you could. It wouldn't be smart.
It's pretty dangerous to breadboard 400 volts on it.
Yeah, exactly. But so it's got to be frustrating because you'll breadboard something and obviously you tune it as you're breadboarding. That's the whole reason. And then you'll play. You're like, that's it. And then you'll lay it out, and then you'll have it built, or you'll build it yourself, or whoever, whatever.
Right,
But you get done, and it sounds nothing like it did on the breadboard. And it's like the schematic's the same,
and you kind of have
parts
to,
are the same.
You have to kind of expect it and plan for it.
Isn't that
So,
crazy?
It sucks.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So do you go back to the drawing board and do you relay it out, or do you adjust different components to get it to sound like it did on the breadboard?
First, I try to adjust components.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
First thing I try to adjust components. If that doesn't work, then we may go with a different layout. If that doesn't work, we'll scrap the design.
Oh,
Since
man.
there's been, I mean, like the Ace 30 something. There was, I remember the orange prototype I had. Sounded great on the breadboard.
And it sounded good in a pedal. It just
it wasn't.
it didn't breathe.
It wasn't the same thing.
Yeah. Well,
And that fuzz. Remember that
that's
fuzz?
exactly what I was getting ready to say.
We had that fuzz that was on perf board. And
I got something funny to tell you about that.
And
Go
then
ahead.
we laid it down on circuit board, and it just it lost all its character.
Yeah, and you were like, take it home and play it next to that fuzz, and I did, and I was like, it just doesn't have it, and you're like, really? And I was like, yeah. I said, I'll throw a mic in front of an amp and I'll record it, and you were like, yeah, try to get them to sound as close to the same as you possibly can. Track that and then send it to me. Well, I did, and in the heat of the moment, we were like, oh man, they sound completely different. This is unusable. But I was cleaning up my computer the other day, and I found that file. They sound pretty close.
They do, but there was a different
You're
feel
right.
for
There
sure.
was a complete different feel, and I don't know that.
And we used the same parts, so it's not. I mean, it was exactly the same parts. It was just a layout thing.
That's crazy.
So.
And gosh, I wish we could relay that out because
We can. We just we came out to Fuzz and said,
oh, trust. This is completely different animal, though.
Yeah,
it's more like. I don't know. It's a little more raw, but a little more smooth on the low end. The low end's way smoother, but the actual fuzz articulation is a little more raw.
Right.
Oh man, I'm getting excited.
You put a lot of emphasis on fuzz. You went fuzz.
Fuzz. I love fuzz. Although
I'm surprised you didn't say hashtag tonal erection or something.
toner.
Toner. That's what it was. Yeah, I knew there was a hashtag.
That's dirty.
I knew there was a hashtag somewhere that you used at some point.
Hashtag toner.
Toner. That's what it was.
I'm talking about copy machines, bro. My buddy Roy Westernhauser-Smithen, his day gig has to do with ink toner. So ink toner.
That's his day gig?
It has to do with that. But like he told me, he was like, I can't call it a toner because I always think of work.
Oh gosh.
And he's always like, I'm sorry, man. I always call you and bug you about your job. I was like, it's my hobby too. You know what I mean? It's like it's fine.
Right.
He was like, yeah, but you don't bug me about my job. I'm like,
about copy machine.
I was like, I'm not really interested.
What's the best copy machine, man?
But so I thought that was great about the expensive parts, because everybody always thinks gotta have them, gotta have the most expensive. You gotta have, and oh my gosh, dude, I try buying tubes.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just gonna pay somebody like the tube amp doctor and say, this is my amp. Send me tubes. How much money?
But some of those old tubes, man, do make a huge
They
difference.
totally do. I mean, they totally do. But who can afford them? I mean, they're talking over $100, and that's on the cheap end for a new old stock Mullard preamp tube.
Right.
And I need 3 of them.
Right. And you're going to go through them pretty quickly.
Yeah, because there are, right? Even if they're new old stock, and a lot of people are like, oh, just buy the pre-owned ones. They're only $90. Shut up. No. And they're like, you can still get 70 hours on them. It's like, I'm going to play 70 hours over the course of the next 2 weeks.
I was going to say, so that's like the next month.
Yeah, especially on a new amp that you're building.
Right.
Come on, man. And let's face it, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I'm probably going to introduce voltages and things that these tubes don't like at first. You know what I mean?
It's awkward meetings between voltages and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is awkward. It's totally awkward. Which brings us into preamp tubes. Everybody always thinks the hotter the preamp tube, the better the amp sounds. And this goes back to what we were saying last week. Well, was it last week? I can't remember. But basically,
one of the weeks.
How gainy amps are the thing right now, no clean tones. But I don't have much to say on that because we've kind of discussed that. But
yeah,
this is one that you will love.
Okay.
The myth: hand-wired circuits always sound better than printed board circuits.
No,
I know because in
fact, a circuit board is way more reliable.
Way more reliable, way
And
more
it's
consistent
consistent.
from piece to piece.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Like
MS Boogie, that's all circuit board, isn't it?
even John Suhr's amps.
Is it?
Yeah, and they sound just as boutique as anything.
I think done right, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, the caveat is some of the some of the Chinese amps, the circuit boards are
so thin. The
traces are it's terrible,
sketchy at best.
Yeah, I mean, if you desolder it, you basically have ruined part of that circuit board.
And then you have to hand wire it.
Right.
and then it becomes great because it's hand wired.
But you can get great circuit boards. You can get terrible circuit boards. You can lay them out really good. You can lay them out really bad. But with the circuit board, you can control noise.
That's
and amps,
the thing.
Noises. I mean, layout. You can have a wire just a little bit over.
That's what I was talking to you about, which kind of takes us into, the next thing. I don't want to cut you off on this, but like, for instance, going back to that same fuzz we were talking about, that the one that we laid out and couldn't get it right, but or not right, but because right's a relative term, but what the
way we wanted it.
Yeah, the way we wanted it, because it was right. It sounded great. It just wasn't the way we wanted it. But it's perf board. And it's a little noisy. Mm-hmm. But the one where you laid it out on PCB, quiet as a mouse. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For a fuzz pedal, that's saying a lot because mice are quiet. You got nothing?
And rodents.
And rodents.
You're talking about, like, Brian's built an amp. You're building an amp. I've once played an amp. so I kind of know what you're talking about.
But you didn't actually have to build your amp. Because people. You just had to say, this is my design. Let's work on it together. And then you guys both build it, right?
Who?
You and Kevin?
Shaw?
Yeah.
I've bought a couple of different amps with Kevin Shaw.
No, the one you built.
The black one? The Plexi one?
No, the one, your design, your Wampler amp.
Gotcha, that one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, that was basically just a collaboration between he and I.
If
you see some of our videos, you'll see like a Wampler head in the back.
Mm-hmm. For sale.
For sale.
I think there is one left actually. Mm-hmm. And but I mean, it was just I started with a brown face Tweed Deluxe based on Ford Thurston's amp actually.
Okay.
Thurston had a great brown face.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'd like to have an amp like that. So
I will build one.
So we just kind of worked out the schematic side of it, and he built it, and I don't know, sold 5 of them or 10 of them for fun for a while.
I was about to say, but you didn't make it. I mean,
nah, I don't want to be an amp builder.
Well, here's the thing: you only have like one left, so obviously it was worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
one sits in Paisley's studio. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and one of Paisley's really good friends, Robert Arthur. Yeah, mm-hmm. He has one, doesn't he?
I think so.
He has your combo.
Yeah, it might be the combo. Yeah,
he has a combo, and I played that for a couple gigs. I really liked it. Yeah. And I normally don't like Tweed amps.
Yeah, it's kind of a cross between a deluxe and a brown face.
Maybe that's why I like it, because it has like the brown face thing. Mm-hmm. But the printed, like you were saying,
that's true point to point. There's no turret board.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's literally part goes into part.
I have an amp like that that started life as a Frenzel, but I ruined it and then had somebody fix it. But
clamp it amp?
Yeah.
Did you clamp it amp?
Yeah, I had a guy, general manager of a venue I play often with a Slippery Noodle. He said, "Nice amp. I'd beat Jed Clampett's amp if he played guitar instead of banjo."
So now it's called the Clampet.
Yeah, so now we just called it the Clampet. But, hey, it's a badge of honor. It was my first try.
Good for you.
Yeah, but here I actually have a schematic and a layout for whatever I'm doing now. So not just like, hey, what's this do? Mm-hmm. That was before I even knew how to discharge caps. So the fact that I'm still alive is really awesome.
That's kind of a miracle in itself.
Yeah, I had no idea how to discharge caps.
More than a gold star on the fridge.
Yeah.
I'll put this up on the fridge.
But something you were talking about, Robbie from Jake Owens' band. He's a bass. Yeah. No, it wasn't Robbie. It was Dave, right? It was Dave. He's the modder. Right?
Yeah, Dave was modifying. Actually, I think he's probably going to go into amp building.
Good for him.
So
yeah, he loves that stuff. But he was telling me about, like wire length, and the reason that, he'll go in and he'll buy a brand new boutique amp, $3,000 amp, and then he'll start going in and like, well, I need to shorten these wires. They don't need to be that long,
Right.
And because he can hear the difference. Mm-hmm. And who's to say that because maybe we can't, that he's wrong.
Right.
And another thing this article was saying is that clean, laid out, amps don't always sound better. Mm-hmm. The guy from Two Rock even said, he's like, he said, I've some of the best sounding old Gibson amps I've ever heard. Like, what are they, the GA5s or something like that? Yeah. He said, you open those up and it looks like a rat's nest.
Right.
And they sound incredible, But, and that's kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about the wires. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, maybe I find this completely interesting, but I mean, maybe that's just because I'm definitely going through an amp stage right now.
Nerd.
Yeah, but the nerd part is, see, it's not nerdy. This goes back to what I always say. No, it's not nerdy. It's completely not nerdy. Everything's nerdy. It just depends on who has the bigger audience.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these people that really like cars, that's completely nerdy. But it's cooler because cars are more acceptable than guitar pedals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like no matter what you're into, it's completely nerdy. Just however many people are into it. We just happen to be into guitar gear.
It's true.
Like for instance, let's say we collected Star Wars figurines. It's not nerdy. See, you're gonna say it's nerdy. It's not nerdy.
Cards.
No garbage pail kids.
Garbage pail. Yeah.
Let's say you
I
collected those.
understand.
People who are into that, they don't think it's nerdy.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Don't call me a nerd. I just dropped some knowledge on you, cuz.
Whatever.
I'm gonna bring back cuz.
Cuz.
Remember I went through a summer
You
trying
did
to bring
go through a
back.
cuz
Yeah.
phase.
I went through a
Yeah.
cuz phase.
Yeah.
Hashtag cuz.
CZ.
Yeah, what's up, cuz? See, I'm gonna bring that back. Nothing.
Hands up.
I think what it comes from is I never really knew my cousins. Chasing therapy.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, and how does that make you feel?
Yeah. Lean back and tell me about it.
This show, I better consult the paper because this show's going downhill from here. But no, here's a good one that I don't know the answer to, but I'm going to throw it out. No, I am. I'm going to throw it out because I want the answer to it. Maybe you know, but this guy, I'll just read it. He said, "Did Les Paul and Leo Fender place the pickups in their guitars by scientific design, just separating them as far as possible for tone variation, or was it a happy accident? I have read there are sweet spots for pickups, which would also mean there are dead spots. Can you discuss this, please?" That's a great idea.
That's a great idea for Frank.
Yeah,
Great question
exactly.
for Frank.
Exactly.
Frank
But
Falbo.
something I can say is the difference between a Les Paul Junior and a Les Paul Special, both have P90s.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the bodies are a little bit different, but if you look at the pickup placement, the Les Paul, okay, so if you took a Les Paul Special, which two P90s, and then you took a Les Paul Junior, it would kind of lay over top of the bridge pickup, like, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Not completely over top. It would,
Yeah.
I don't know the word I'm looking for, but anyways,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be quite in the middle. It wouldn't be quite back by the bridge. So therefore, it sounds completely different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the bridges are different on those too. I mean, there's all kinds of things, but you know, because I was thinking about having a guy build a guitar, and I was like, do I want a junior or do I want a special? You know, what do I want? And then he was like, well, you got to keep this in mind.
Right.
You know, and the same thing with the, I believe, the old 330s. No, there was a Gibson guitar that only had one P90. I thought it was the early 330s, and then
Could be.
the later 330s had the two dog ears, and
Those are cool.
and same thing. You know, it's like, well, you better figure out which one you want if you're going to drop $3,500, $4,000 on a vintage guitar.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Probably
like,
try to get the best of both worlds, kind of in the middle somewhere.
yeah. So it's like, you know, that's a great question, Frank.
Frank, answer it, please.
That's me typing.
Skype call Frank.
Yeah, this guy. Look, you guys just talk amongst yourselves. 6'5". Yeah, but no, this would be a good. Let's at least make it a point to email Frank Falbo, who's who we're talking
Who's on?
about.
Yeah. What?
He's
What was it?
4
50,
episodes, 3
50,
episodes.
9? Something like that.
I can't remember, man.
Guitar guru.
Can you believe
extraordinaire.
we've done almost 70 of these things?
Have we really?
Yeah, we're the
It's almost
one.
been a year, hasn't it?
The one that's getting ready to come out tomorrow, 67.
Wow.
Yeah, that's incredible. Incredible.
Incredible.
that one's for Bob. He's looking at me. He's like, you can't say that.
You stole my line.
Incredible.
It's an inside joke. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But
I never heard that one.
yeah, sorry. But Bob and Nevin. By the way, we forgot to give a shout out to Nevin. Nevin is, you can't really say he's an intern because he's been doing it so long.
Right.
But we call him the intern.
He'll always be the intern.
Yeah, he'll always be the intern, but he does a lot of the video editing for the podcast, and Bob does some as well. But obviously that's why the inside joke gets there, because Bob's going to see the video before any of you, and he's going to be like, "Oh no!" but shout out to Nevin too. He does great. He's the first person to ever let Max throw fire.
It's true.
Yes.
And not
that
get
is
in trouble
true.
by the police.
We were having this conversation yesterday. He was like, He's like, do you ever wish for pyrokinesis? And I said, and without even skipping a beat, I was like, no, but telekinesis, because then you could just move a match, and then, you know, and he's like, yeah, but people would see the match, you know, and I was like, look, I'm just trying to make sure you get the most out of your wish here, bro. And he goes, that's why we're friends. But no, I'd like to get that from Frank. Come on. So, I mean, did you see it? He's trying to throw fire. Did you get the right camera?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Spot on.
All right. Remember when you hit it with that paper airplane?
I did.
That was
That
incredible. Oh, man. Okay. I don't know if we have time for that one. That one's long.
Nope.
The top one.
Nope.
It'll take me that long. And this another guy asked, you know, why a grosh or suhr instead of regular strat. We covered that already, but I don't know if we said this, but consistency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same thing with why a Whitfill over a Fender Telecaster.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to play 6 Telecasters to find the one you want, or you can just say, Charles, build me one.
Right.
And it's perfect. Perfect.
A Pinto and a Corvette will get you from point A to point B. Just one does it way cooler. Don't look at me awkward. It's true.
No,
it's true.
No, it's great. I just wanted to give you that awkward feel. Did you start getting hot and like
I'm already
sweaty?
awkward enough. I'm already kind of clammy in my hands. Socially awkward person. You guys haven't figured this out yet.
Well, they haven't.
You're probably socially awkward too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you're in school and you don't know who the Stinky Kid is, you're the Stinky Kid. You know what I mean? So if you can't figure out Max is a little awkward, it's because you're awkward too.
Because you're awkward too. But that's okay though.
But yeah, that kind of wraps it up, man. The main thing was the tube amp thing, because I'm so in the mix of it right now. You know, like I literally just spent $400 on parts last night, you know, researching, and it took me like 4 hours. So they just made $100 an hour. I'm math, dude.
Boom.
What up, cuz?
You didn't have to do Common Core on that one.
Yo, don't get me started. No, that's all I got. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Chasing Tone Podcast on Facebook, Chasing Tone Podcast on Instagram. Check out Max's blog.
Boom.
Yeah, get them numbers up. Got to meet your quota.
It's true.
Did I miss anything? Oh, the Wampler Pedals Tone Group. Man, that's taken off.
Yeah, it's doing good.
That's doing great.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good conversation.
Lots of good conversation.
Yeah. On Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook, sorry. Wampler Pedals Tone Group. And I can't reiterate enough, it doesn't have to be strictly Wampler pedals, because, I mean...
Usually it's just a good place to ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, even if whatever it's about. You'd be like, hey, why does the moon, full right now?
Yeah, Max will answer every question.
Yep.
We need to get back to that. Remember that segment we had? Max answers your questions?
It's true. We need to start that back up again.
Why? Because what did the guy say? He said, why aren't jet skis called what?
Oh, yeah. No,
water cycles or something?
Yeah, boater cycles.
Boater cycles. That's what it was. Why aren't jet skis called boater cycles? That's great. On that note, I'm going to leave you. For Max and Brian, I'm Travis. Thanks for watching.